when I see the phenomena, I do not see what's really there. What I see, what I believe, is something different. For me, a more vivid example, of course, is the dream state. A dream state is a microcosm of Maya. So what happens? First comes Avarana Shakti, veiling power. We call that falling asleep. Then when the mind imagines, I have a dream body, and that's a locus of perception. I peep out from my dream body to see a dream world. And I have dream feelings and thoughts. And I'm identified with the dream body. And to the mind in the dream state, to the dreamer, the dream is very real. It's only when it's negated, that's the philosophical term, when I wake up, do I then apprehend the truth, seen but not real. So, what so is that the body, the mind, the intellect, everything that's perceived is nothing but mind. It's the play of mind. And the truth is, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is real, meaning I. All phenomena is imagination. In Mandukya Upanishad, which we study with the Gaudapada Karika, in the second chapter, which is titled Vaitatya, falseness. In the fourth Karika, Gaudapada thunders. The phenomenal world is quite unreal, and the proof of its unreality is you can see it. So the yogi wants to meditate on the fact, if it is objectively apprehended, it is imagination. It is nothing but the mind. That means gross objects and subtle objects. So what? All my suffering is rooted in three ideas, which are all imagined. I'm a person. I am the body. I'm going to get old. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. I will be no more. I always find that interesting. In America, we never say, oh, Aunt Mary, she is no more. We say she's died or she's passed away. India, people say, oh, so-and-so, they are no more. It's a lie. Nobody is ever no more. And all imagined things are temporary. So this Jiva Bhavana is an illusion. It's like the ghost in the post. The world I perceive with the senses is nothing but the lila, the play of consciousness. And if I take it as substantial, then I've got kartavya, obligatory action. I need to go from point A to point B in order to be happy. Practice implied is, it's all just imagination. No big deal. We don't take ourselves or the world so seriously. Tejo Mayananda says, the foolish person doesn't take life seriously. The intelligent person takes life seriously. But the wise person seriously doesn't take life seriously. Because they see the phenomenal world as illusion, mithya, vaithatya, false, pratibimba, like the reflection in a mirror. Any thoughts on this? How do I prove this to myself? First of all, keep turning the mind inward and remember, check out your own nature. See if you are ever altered by any circumstance. No, I'm still just witnessing consciousness. Next verse.
Yatheva shunya betalo gandha varnam puram yatha yatha kashe dvichandratvam tadvat satve jagatstitihi. Just as the ghost in an empty space, a celestial city in the heavens, the appearance of two moons in the sky are unreal, so too the existence of this universe in the truth is unreal.
Yes. So seen but not real. When I imagine a ghost in a space, it's my imagination. If there's some sort of reflection in the clouds where it seems like there's two moons in the sky, it's not real. What was the third one? The third image he used?
A celestial city in the heavens.
Oh, yes. You look at a formation of clouds. Now it looks like a dragon, and then the wind comes, and now it looks like a castle, and oh, now it looks like a city. It's just clouds. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. All this is verily Brahman. It's all consciousness. Sarvam Maya, Sarvam Ananda. All is Maya, all is bliss. A wise person seriously doesn't take life seriously. Next verse.
Yatha taranga kallole jalameva spuratyalam patra rupena tamram hi brahmando khestathatmata. As the water alone appears in the form of waves and tides, and in the same way as the copper alone appears to be vessels, so too the self alone appears as the universe.
So now we're dealing with this notion of what we call material cause. What is the universe made of? And as I quoted Chandogya prior, all this is verily Brahman. There's no second substance. The waves in the ocean are nothing but the ocean. Copper in the pots, etc. Golden ornaments, clay in vessels. All of this is nothing but consciousness appearing as name and form. Now, the Tantrikas, their philosophical notion includes a concept called spanda. Spanda means to vibrate. They say that just like the surface of the waves are waving, they actually undergo movement. They posit that, well, consciousness vibrates a little, and that's what creates the universe. The Advaitins say, no, it doesn't. It's kutusta. It is changeless. Nothing ever really happens. Well, if that be so, then how come I see all this stuff? Such is the mystery of Maya. In the end, I wouldn't worry about whether it's vibrating or whether it's just illusion. The point is, it's not you. The point is, none of the phenomena can really hurt or touch you. So you can have a wonderful dream, but it doesn't touch me, the waker. Or it can be a horrific nightmare, but it doesn't touch me, the waker. So also, you can be hitting all the green lights of life. Don't worry, it will pass. It does not touch you. You can be facing crises. Don't worry. It doesn't touch you. Now we have to be very careful. This is an insight we use for ourselves. Do not bang other people over the head with it. Someone comes to you and says, oh, I've had a terrible fight with my partner, blah, 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 blah. I'm so sad. He's so upset, blah, 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 blah. It is cruel to say, get over it, it's not real. We meet people where they are. But inside, you know, it's all Maya. It's all okay. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Ghatanamna yatha prithvi patanamna hi tattvataha jagannama namna chedab bhati yeyam tattad bhavataha. It is the clay that appears in the name of a pot. It is the thread alone that looks like cloth. So too, it is the pure consciousness alone that appears as the universe. It should
Yeah.
be understood by negating the names.
Yes. So I love that example of the thread in the cloth. So if you were here in my living room, you could look down at the carpet and you see that there are black snakes on the carpet. Oh, snakes in Jim's living room. No, it's a woven carpet. Those are black threads. If you unravel the carpet, there are no snakes. None. So to this world, it's nothing but the play of consciousness. One of the most famous sayings from the Upanishads is neti, neti, na iti, na iti. Not this, not this. And it's always done as a pair. We never hear it said neti, nor do we hear neti, neti, neti. It's always just neti, neti. Why? Shankara is following this paradigm. Remember back for weeks, we were going, you're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the prana, you're not the thoughts. You are not this, you're the witnessing consciousness, not iti, neti. Now he's saying it's not any of the objects. It's not any of the circumstances. It's Brahman. So we need to negate our identification with, our belief in the reality of the body, mind, intellect. And now also the world of objects, emotions. What is the truth of my being? Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahma. What is the truth of the phenomenal world? Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. It's all Brahma. What's the relationship between the two? I am Atma, Brahma. This self is Brahma. All is Maya. All is bliss. All phenomena is illusory. It's just the play of the mind. What's really there? Satchidananda. Pure existence, pure consciousness, and bliss habits. This is called jnana abhyasa, the practice of knowledge. Any thoughts on this? Next one.
Sarvopi vyavaharastu brahmana kriyate janeha ajnananan vijananti mriddeva hi khatadikam. All transactions are undertaken by the people in and through Brahman only. Due to ignorance, they do not know it, just as a pot is used for different purposes without knowing that it is essentially mud alone.
So, people conduct business in the world, the coming and going, up and down, the gain and loss, the acquiring, the jealousy, the satisfactions, all those worldly enterprises take place. But these people do not know that it's all Maya. It's all this. Just as you can use the pot to make dal, you can use the pot to steam vegetables, you can use the pot to heat water, you can use the pot to make rice. Pot doesn't care. Pot doesn't even know. But the person of wisdom knows. Practically speaking, something happens in the world and I get triggered. Aha! Force of the past maturing. Watch. Just don't do something, stand there. Let the subtle body shake, rattle, and roll. Hold it in compassionate awareness. Don't go down the rabbit hole of repeating it. The best you can. It's all just Leela. It's all just play. It's all just waves in the ocean. I am never touched by it. That's not the same as I'm a yogi, I'm spiritual, I'm not supposed to feel this. That's suppression. It's a subtle but important difference. Don't try to be a spiritual person. Remember, you are Brahman. Big difference. Next one.
Karyakaranata nityam. Hold on. Karyakaranta nityamaste ghattamrittoratha something. Tatheva shruti yuktibhyam prapancha brahmanoriha. There is a relationship of cause and effect between mud and pot. So also the relationship between the Brahman and the world has been established by scriptures and logic.
So, we're talking about cause. Now, in the field of philosophy in India, we separate causation into three elements: material cause, instrumental cause, and efficient cause. And we use the classic example of the pot. What is the material cause of the pot? What's the pot made out of? Mud. What's the instrumental cause? Where is it done? How is it done? The potter's wheel. Who made the pot? The potter. Material cause, instrumental cause, what we call efficient cause. What the scriptures thunder. All three elements, material cause, instrumental cause, and efficient cause, of the phenomenal world, they are Brahman alone. How's it done? One of the most important philosophical questions is, where is the locus of Maya? Many people think Maya occurs in my mind. Oh, I'm deluded. That's because of Maya. I got Maya in my mind. That's not correct. My mind is the result of Maya. Maya is the inherent power of the infinite. Maya is the word we use to describe how the impossible seems possible. How is it that consciousness, which is one without a second, which is sthita, still, standing, which is always the eternal subject, aham, which is achalam, it never moves, seems to have an entire universe take place in it. Seen but not real, but certainly seen. Nobody has an answer. That's actually the great mystery. And I love what Shankara says in Vivekachudamani. We can't say that Maya exists. Maya is fundamentally ignorance. Oh, I have 10 quarts of ignorance in my pocket. It's too bad. We can't say it doesn't exist. Oh, Maya. But we can say it is powerful. So Maya, some people look at the etymology from ma, not. That which is comprised of not K-N-O-T, but N-O-T. But it's the word we use to describe what seems to be going on. The best example I like is when I bring out my crystal ball and I compare the crystal ball to the prayer stone. Both are stone. Prayer stone's granite, probably, I don't know for sure. It is solid, dense rock, but it has no reflecting power. It's just rock. The crystal ball is also rock. It's quartz. It's flawless, clear quartz crystal. But it has an inherent power. It has a Shakti. Images appear in it upside down. Are they there or are they not there? Well, they're not there, but I see them. Well, something's there. Well, is there something there? Mystery. I cannot saw open the rock and pull out the images. It is the nature of the stone to have images appear. They seem to be there, but they're not there. The reason I like this, because I'm an Advaitin. The rock undergoes no change. It doesn't vibrate. It's just its nature. It has its own kind of Maya Shakti. Its power to make illusion. So is all this. Now, whatever image appears in the stone, nothing affects the stone. If there's flood, if there's catastrophe, if there's plague, epidemic, pandemic, or microcosmically, I have an argument with my spouse, a loved one dies. Those are like the various images in the crystal ball. But the crystal ball is never touched, never altered. And the images are nothing but the crystal ball appearing as those images. The crystal ball is the efficient cause. That's who's doing it, the crystal ball. It is the instrumental cause. There's no second thing that has to happen for the images to appear. And most importantly, it's the material cause. It is the stone itself that appears as the images. The term Mandukya uses is vijnana ganam, a homogeneous mass of consciousness. In which all of this takes place. Now, this is not just philosophy. As we thin the mind, I'm going to borrow terms from Yoga Sutra. Vairagya, abhyasa cha. Through renunciation and practice of meditation, we get what's called tanu manasa, thinness of mind. The world starts to thin out. It becomes insubstantial. So this philosophical position is rooted in a direct experience. Mind is the world is the mind, they are the same thing. Thin the mind, you thin out the world. Stop the mind and you stop the world. Any thoughts? Next verse.
Grihyamane ghate yadvan mrittika bhati vepalat vikshyamane prapanchepi brahmeva bhati bhasuram. When a pot is seen, in fact, it is the mud alone we are perceiving. So too, when we observe the world, it is the ever-effulgent Brahman that is seen in and through the objects.
Now, one of the things the scriptures say about Brahman, about consciousness, it is Swayambhu, it is Swayam Jyoti. It is self-existent, self-evident, self-luminous. The one thing consciousness does, it is aware that it is. How do you know you are you? You never doubt that you are. You do not see, hear, taste, touch, or smell yourself. You don't emote yourself. You don't think yourself. Yet, you know you are. Yet, you do not see yourself as an object. It is the self-evidence of I. That is the nature of Brahman. It is Swayambhu. Listen carefully. When I perceive an object that is still Brahman in the state of Swayambhu, comes to myself, I know I am. I never doubted. When I see a candle or a table or a pillow on the couch, that is nothing but Brahman again, knowing Brahman. It's a wonderful point to meditate on. It's only one seer, Brahman. The only thing Brahman can know is Brahman. It looks like candle, table, or pillow. It's Brahman. It seems like I'm Jim and I like this pillow and I don't like the table. Brahman knowing Brahman. Sarvamaya, Sarvamana, all is Maya.
Como que le hace falta W440. Que no veo.
Hello? There's someone, is that you, Cicely?
Yeah, that was Cicely. I muted her.
All right, next one.
Sadevatma vishuddhopi shuddho bhati vesada yatheva vidha rajul jnanino ajnanino nisham. Just as a rope is seen in two different ways, as a rope or as a snake, so also the self, which is ever pure, is seen in two different ways, by the wise as pure, and by the ignorant as impure, or the world of objects.
Yes. So if I'm deluded, I see the rope and I imagine the snake. So also for the deluded, for the impure. What do we mean by impure? We're not talking about good thoughts as opposed to bad thoughts. We're not talking about people who bathe 3 times a day to those who don't want to shower in the morning. We're not talking about people who are vegans as opposed to those who like steak. Doesn't mean any of that. Just like when we have water, what is pure water? Pure water is water where things that are not water have been removed. So also for the pure mind, when all thought has been removed, or at least reduced. How do we do this? The way to heal the mind is get out of the mind, quit believing the mind, quit getting activated by the mind. And it withers from lack of attention. When the mind is pure, then the nature of the self is very evident. This is the essence of sattva. A purely sattvic mind sees the self for what it is. Satchidananda. The impure mind thinks I'm a person, I'm my body. The pure mind sees the world as just the play of Maya. The impure mind says there are real things out there and real people, and most of them are jerks. The impure mind thinks, let me play whack-a-mole with the world. I'll make it better. The pure mind goes, Leela. Marvelous. Next verse.
Yatheva mrinmaya kumbha tattva deho api chinmayaha atmanatma vibhagoyam mutheva kriyate udhe. Just as a mud pot is all mud, similarly, this body is all consciousness. The distinction, therefore, of the self and the not self is made in vain by the ignorant people.
So we have an important pedagogical shift. I will frequently talk about the pedagogical journey that Shankara takes us on. Some of the Upanishads are absolutist. All is Maya. All is Brahman. But that is difficult for the beginner to apprehend. If you think you are your body, to say the world's illusion is not helpful. So Shankara takes us on a journey, a process. First, he allows us to be identified with the body, the glories of a human birth, attaining to viryam, vitality and strength. Don't waste this precious gift. It takes hundreds of crores of lifetimes to get a human birth. Then he subtly allows us to identify with the subtle body. Qualifications of a fit student. We have this long section. Vairagya, viveka, samadhi, guna, mumukshutva. What is it that acquires the qualifications of a fit student? It's the mind. I, Jim, am going to practice shama. I, Jim, am going to practice titiksha. Then we enter into the process of drikrisha viveka. Discrimination between the seer and the seen, between the self and the not self, between the subject and all the objects. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the thoughts. I'm not the ego sense. What am I? Witnessing consciousness. And at the acme of that process, we had some short verses. What is the nature of Brahman? Brahman is consciousness alone. It's not shunyata, it's not nothing. It's purnam, it's full of being. Baba. Sat, it is. Now we're working on what is this world. Moves us further pedagogically. All this world is Brahman as well. All of it appears to be here, but it's nothing but the play of consciousness. Now he thunders that old exercise we were doing, subject-object discrimination. Well, guess what? There is no not self. When we say you're not the body, we actually lie. You are the body, but you are all bodies. You understand that subtle shift? No avoidance, no worries. It's all Brahman. It's all Brahman. People get confused because they see what appears to be contradiction in Shankara's teaching. And they're right. There is contradiction in Shankara's teaching. Because he's taken us on a process. Once you realize, idiot in, jnani out. That's what he's doing. He starts at a very basic level for beginners. Gradually, over time, takes to a place, all that prior stuff, we're going to let go. But the mind has to be properly prepared for this. This is why when I teach v61, I say, if you will do everything Shankara suggests, I can almost guarantee self-realization. Unfortunately, people think I said, if I read everything Shankara wrote, I'll get self-realization. No. We have to do everything Shankara says. Well, I thought that it's knowledge. Well, you can't do anything to get it. Well, yes and no. There are preparatory practices which have as their goal achieving a sattvic mind. It is the sattvic mind alone that's capable of self-realization. Metaphor. It's like the ballet dancer who's a beginner and struggling to be able to do a pirouette, and they keep falling off their center. So you work and work and work and work to come to the point where you don't work, where you just find your center and you turn around. The singer who does all this technique to learn how to support, to learn about placement, breath control, all this sort of stuff. So you go hear the accomplished singer and their technique is absolutely at their command, and they effortlessly say. We work very hard to get to the place where we make no efforts. Armchair grace is not yoga. It's all illusion. It's all God. I'm just going to sit here in my chair and get smashed on scotch tonight. That's not yoga. Doesn't matter. It's all an illusion. That's rationalizing ourselves. Any thoughts on this? Next verse.
Sarpatvena yatha rajjuh rajatatvena shuktika vinirnati vinirnita vimhurnena dehatvena yathatmata. A piece of rope is mistaken for a serpent. A piece of shell is misunderstood to be silver. So too the ignorant wrongly understands the Atman as the body.
So the foolish person thinks I am the body. And when I think I am the body, I take the vyavahara, the transactions of the world, as real and important. In second chapter of Gita, in the Stita Prajna Purusha section, Krishna says, what is day to the yogi is night to other people. And what is day to other people is night for the yogi. Meaning, for the person of wisdom, this world is trinkets and baubles, entertaining at best. Jesus said, I am in the world, but not of it. He said, my kingdom is not of this world. This day to the people out there, the person of wisdom is asleep too. No interest in it. But the Stita Prajna Purusha, the person of steady wisdom, they have this wonderful playground. Chidananda Rupaha. My form is bliss consciousness. Shivoha, Shivo. I am Shiva. I am auspicious. And the people engaged in the vyavahara, the transaction of the world, don't even know it exists. Next verse.
Ghatatvena yatha prithvi patatven. Hold on. I feel like we've done that one. No. No, that was the correct one. Okay. Ghatatvena yatha prithvi patatveneva tan tavaha vinirnita vimudhena dehatvena tathatmata. Just as mud is understood to be pot, threads are mistaken for cloth, so too the ignorant has mistaken the Atman as the body.
So again, we believe the superimposition, the illusion. We think it is real. So the practice that's implied here, keep doing the subject-object discrimination. I am not the body, I'm always the knower of it. Keep meditating on this world. It all comes about like the dream. Chill. Be cool. It's all going to be okay. It's all. Doesn't mean at the level of Vyavahara we don't act our role in the world. Of course we do. Never think that your role in the world is somehow special. It's just your part, the divine. You ever stay identified. Chidananda Rupa, by forms bliss consciousness. I don't need to fix any other people. I don't need to change them. I don't need to save them. It's all okay. They come to me, seek advice or suggestions, that's fine. I do my best. Let it be. I love the line from that Beatles song. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Let it be. Wonderful yoga. Next verse.
Kanakam kundalantvena tarangatvena vejalam vinirnita vimhurnena dehatvena tathatmata. Gold is mistaken for an earring. Water of the ocean is perceived as waves. So too the ignorant has mistaken the Atman as the body.
Yes. So always this superimposition. I superimpose on the self the qualities of the not-self. I see the illusions, I see the names and forms, and I forget. Sarvam kalvidam dhamma. All this is verily. I am Atma. This self is Brahman. So he keeps repeating this idea with various metaphors. apply. This is called jnana abhyasa. This is the practice of knowledge. In Viveka Chudamani, he'll explain the process using the metaphor of the katakana. In the villages in the monsoon, when the women come down to the rivers to get water, the water is filled with silt because of the flooding in the monsoon. So they take the big jars and they get the water, and it's not potable, it's filled with dirt. So there's a tree, the kataka tree, and they take the nut, the kataka nut, and they grind it up into a powder, and they put the powder in the jars. And it does something with the surface tension. It causes the silt to clump, it becomes heavy, and sinks to the bottom of the jar. Then they can decant the jar, and you've got pure potable water. The modern day metaphor is laundry detergent. My clothes are dirty, so I put them in the washing machine, and what do? I add more dirt, but it's special dirt. It's called detergent. And then when the rinse cycle happens, both the dirt that was in the clothes and the detergent gets rinsed away. So also, my mind is filled with its ulcerated thoughts and feelings and memories. So I need to be brainwashed. So the spiritual detergent is jnana abhyasa. Pour some Vedanta in your head. Practice it. And this is a kind of thought which has the power to neutralize other thoughts. In the end, we let them all. Samadhi is putting the mind on rinse cycle. But before that, add the detergent of jnana abhyasa. The practice. All right, we'll stop here. What verse are we on for next week?
We'll do 73 next week.
All right. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamabhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Guru Namah. Hari Om. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
And you're in your what? Your Toyota Gufa?
Yes, I am. It served me well.
Gufa means cave. So she's in the cave of the Toyota.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Be
Bye.
well.
Thank you.